Welcome in to another episode of my Dynasty Fantasy Football YouTube. Today I'm looking at some Dynasty rookie sleepers. As always, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Let's go. So, my first player, Trevor Etienne. And I feel like Etienne is not getting a lot of love in the rookie process. And I think it's because he seems buried in his landing spot. But we know that round 4 running backs typically are not drafted to be irrelevant. They usually are backups. And I think that that's what he's going to have maybe long term. So let's get into Etienne's college profile. He began his college career as an 18-year-old true freshman at Florida in 2022. In 13 games, 118 carries, 719 yards, 6 touchdowns, 6.1 yards a carry, and 9 catches for 66 yards. It's actually pretty good for a true freshman at, a high-end competitive school like Florida in the SEC. Nice efficiency and some touchdowns against strong competition. Then in 2023, 131 carries, 753 yards, 8 touchdowns, 5.7 yards a carry, and 21 catches, 172 yards, and a touchdown. More efficient than his teammate Montrell Johnson. He got more work per game than he did in 2022 and improved to 8 touchdowns, got some more passing game work. And then based on this, he chose to go to Georgia for 2024. And in 2024, in 10 games, Etienne had 122 carries, 609 yards, 9 touchdowns, 5 yards a carry, 32 catches, 194 yards. Unfortunately, 2024 wasn't. Usually you like to see 2 kind of bubbling under years, and then year 3, a big improvement. We didn't see that. We saw lower efficiency, lower yards per game, more catches, but not as efficient on a per catch basis. At the end of the day, I'm kind of surprised Etienne declared. He could have gone back to school. He was just 20. He was never anywhere near a workhorse in his college career. But he did decide to declare for the NFL draft, which honestly might have been a mistake in the NIL era. He probably could have gotten more by going back. But regardless, he did declare. And he has a 6.94 RAS, which is a middling score. 4.42 second 40-yard dash. That's good. I mean, that's probably what got him drafted. I mean, in the 4th at least. He would have been drafted. But the 4th is decent. His jumping results were mixed. Coming in under 200 pounds didn't help. And yeah, he's majorly downgraded in RAS for his size, but we have to kind of look at what is Etienne? I mean, what kind of player is this? This is a backup or a change of pace back. So the fact that he's smaller, no one's saying he's going to be a workhorse back. So it's okay. Now, Etienne went to the Panthers with the 114th overall pick in round 4. He was the 9th running back taken, which isn't bad. Now, he went right behind Bashal Tutin and Cam Scatabo, but ahead of guys like Dylan Sampson, DJ Giddens, Devin Neal. All those 3 I had ranked above Etienne pre-draft. So he went higher than I expected. Now, the thing is, Bashal Tutin and Cam Scatabo, who also went in round 4, are being drafted in the early 2nd round, treated as starters. Trevor Etienne is sometimes not being drafted at all. So now, Etienne joins Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle on the Panthers RB depth chart. Of course, there's also Jonathan Brooks. He'll miss all of this year. There's no question to me that Hubbard is still the starter. And Dowdle's on a 1-year deal. If Etienne is better, it's not a big deal. If Etienne's better, you could take over as the backup. Like I said, I've seen Etienne go undrafted in 4-round rookie drafts. He is not always even drafted. He went 9 and 10 picks later than Tutin and Scatabo. I'm not saying Trevor Etienne is going to be a fantasy player in year 1, but teams don't draft running backs in the 4th round unless they have a plan for them to have some sort of role at some point, even if it's not a starting role. Trevor Etienne should be drafted in rookie drafts. And I am legitimately seeing drafts where he's not drafted or drafted in the late 4th. And that's just too late for a 4th round running back. Now, my next sleeper, this is a deeper sleeper, but he's been talked about a lot recently. Jacory Croskey-Merritt. Now, I'll be honest, Trevor Etienne, that was a player I looked at in the pre-draft process. I looked at him. Definitely someone I'd looked at. Croskey-Merritt, not a player I'd looked at in the pre-draft process. I hadn't really heard of him. But since the draft, there's been a massive drumbeat. Literally, I can't go a day without hearing something new about how great Croskey-Merritt is doing. Now, he had a very bizarre college career. He played at Alabama State, which is an FCS school, from 2019 to 2022. And honestly, he didn't do all that much across those 4 years. I mean, there was a little bit of production here and there, but it's not like he was having thousands of yards or anything like that. He transferred to New Mexico for 2023, and he was good. 189 carries, 1,190 yards, 17 touchdowns, 6.3 yards a carry, 7 catches, 72 yards and touchdown. 99.2 rushing yards a game. Insanely efficient with lots of touchdowns. Not much in the receiving game, but overall very impressive. Now, he had moved up from FCS, New Mexico's FBS school, but not at the highest level of competition. He decided to transfer to Arizona for 2024, but then things got a little weird. So he played one game, 13 carries, 106 yards, touchdown. Now, you might say, well, he played one game. He must have gotten hurt. No, he didn't get hurt. He was declared ineligible due to issues with a redshirt year from his time at Alabama State. The details of that are not super important. Regardless, he was not allowed to play anymore in 2024. But he wasn't hurt. A lot of people taking the quick look might say, well, he must have been hurt. Not hurt. So there's no injury concern here. Croskey-Merritt just kind of sat around, I guess, the rest of the year. And then he did stand out at the East-West Shrine Bowl, which is kind of what got him on the radar and got him drafted. Now, he has an 8.29 RAS, which is solid. 4.45 second 40-yard dash at 206 pounds is pretty good. And he obliterated the jumping events, but the agility testing wasn't great. So that's why it's not like a 9 or higher RAS. Now, Croskey-Merritt went to the Commanders with a 245th overall pick in round 7. Now, normally, I wouldn't bother to discuss a 7th-round running back. Isaiah Pacheco is really the only hit from that group that I can remember. I think Chris Carson was a 7th-round pick a long time ago, but there's not many. Most of those players don't make the team. But literally every article, every hype piece, and anything I can find consistently discusses Croskey-Merritt as a great value pick and doing well so far with the Commanders. So he joins Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler in the Commanders depth chart. Now, don't go trade your 2nd-round pick for Croskey-Merritt. I saw someone do that. They also have Jeremy McNichols. I think it's pretty clear that Croskey-Merritt is better than Chris Rodriguez, who he's going to take that job. Of all the running back veterans on NFL rosters, if you told me that there was one guy that's cut in the preseason, Austin Eckler would be number 1 on my list. Commanders would save $3.5 million by releasing him. He wasn't great last year. He's 30 years old. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I do think Croskey-Merritt is going to force the Commanders to do something, whether that's cut Eckler, remove McNichols from the roster and have Croskey-Merritt as their RB3, or keep 4 running backs. I think this is someone that they want to keep. I think he's going to make the team. And if he's going to make the team, then that's a player that we want as a rookie sleeper, at least rostered, because you just don't know. We don't know if he's going to be good, and unknown has value upside, especially at running back, where there are injuries and issues all the time. Now, if you like my YouTube content, you should sign up for the Patreon. I'm offering a 50% discount off your first month at all tiers using code TylerYT. Click on the link in the top right corner, patreon.com/fantasy advice to sign up. You can get my Dynasty and rookie rankings, all my rookie content, access to the Discord, all my write-ups, direct message fantasy advice, and the ability to ask in advance questions for the YouTube. Tiers begin at just $5 a month, $250 with the discount. If you want to know more about the Patreon, check out my why you should join the Patreon videos on the channel. Now, other than the 50% discount, which is the main thing that I'm always trying to emphasize on these promos, someone on Patreon, one of the patrons, said that they don't think it comes across on the videos why the Patreon is so great or why it's different from other premium products. So I'll make a small attempt to explain that. Where it's different is, yes, other people sell rankings. Other people have write-ups or articles. What other Patreons do not offer is personalized advice for your team. They don't offer access to the creator, me, at the level that my Patreon does. Daily access, consistent access, both in the Discord and at the direct message levels. Other Patreons don't offer that. Other premium products don't offer that. They offer static, stale articles. They offer generic, boring advice. They don't offer what I'm offering. I am, I hesitate to say this, but I've learned in the premium market that you have to I'm better than they are. I offer more than they do. I'm more helpful than the other products. I believe that. If I didn't believe that, I wouldn't consistently push a premium product. I wouldn't have hundreds of people signing up for a premium product. If it were bad, people would not sign up for it. People would not continue to stay. So I promise you, it is better. If it's not worth it to you, that's up to you. But it's better. It's better than what the others are offering. And I believe in it. And because I believe in it, I'm not going to stop promoting it. You know, it is the main point of the existence of this YouTube channel. And I'm realizing lately that it's not really coming across what I'm offering. So I hope this helped. Maybe it convinced someone to join. Maybe it didn't. But regardless, the main selling point is that I'm offering interaction with me and the ability to completely overhaul your dynasty teams in a way that other people are not offering. So again, I appreciate your consideration, and we'll move on to the next player. So my final dynasty rookie sleeper, Tory Horton, kind of liked him a bit in the pre-draft process. Got a little buried in the NFL draft, but someone should be rostered in most dynasty leagues. So he started his college career at Nevada in 2020. Didn't do that much, but he started to break out in 2021, as you can see. 52 catches, 659 yards, 5 touchdowns, 54.9 yards a game. A nice season at Nevada, but he didn't really stand out compared to Romeo Doubs, who was really, really good. Of course, he got drafted. But anyway, Horton transferred to Colorado State after this year in 2022, 12 games, 71 catches, 1,131 yards, 8 touchdowns, 94.3 yards a game. Then 2023, 96 catches, 1,136 yards, 8 touchdowns, 94.7 yards a game. So basically in 2022 and 2023, he was great. But then 2024, 6 games, 26 catches, 353 yards, a touchdown, 58.8 yards a game. Cut short with a knee injury. Honestly, I think Horton probably should have just declared after 2023. He had 2 really good seasons. 2024 did not help him. So in hindsight, he might have been better off just coming into the NFL. But, you know, he did not do that. So this final season, I think, is why he fell in the draft. He had a 9.83 RAS, which is excellent. Very, very good. He recovered from the knee injury in time for the NFL Combine. Put up a 4.41 second 40-yard dash. Very good. He did well in all the testing. He earned a very high score. So we see these scores. And what do these scores mean, right, for wide receiver versus a running back? These scores show that there is an athletic ceiling to the player. A player who doesn't score a very high RAS has really only one path to get there. They have to get PPR volume. If you do score high in this area, then you have more explosion. There's more likely for fantasy football that you'll be exciting, which could give you sell value, which for these types of wide receivers is what we're looking for more than actual fantasy production. It's sell value. Now, Horton went to the Seahawks with the 166th overall pick in round 5. Again, the injury, final year, hurt his stock. Might have gotten higher if he'd come out before this year. But he's not ancient. He turns 23 in November, so he's still just 22 now. He's not old. So that's not really a major issue for me with Horton. Now, the depth chart. Jackson Smith-Njigba is the wide receiver 1 on the Seahawks. That's very clear. Cooper Kupp right now is the wide receiver 2, and I think clearly will be to open the season. For now, I see Horton as the wide receiver 4. I mean, JSN, Kupp, and Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who Clint Kubiak really liked last year, will be the starting 3. But maybe Horton is someone who could break out a little bit over time if there's an injury or an opportunity to play. I think he's someone to keep an eye on, someone I'm going to be rostering going into the season, and just kind of hanging on to as a sleeper, especially in deeper leagues where you can afford to wait on a wide receiver like Horton. Those would be more of the types of leagues where I'm looking to kind of hang on to this type of player. So we'll close out the video with some Patreon questions. The first, any offenses in general you expect to make a big jump I like to tie myself to players in good offenses as a general rule. So, I mean, a big jump, it's always hard to say because predicting a big jump is usually going against the odds. I do think the Bears are the popular pick, right? I mean, it can't get worse than it was last year. Hopefully, it gets better. I also think the Texans are kind of on that list. Stroud, year 1 was great. Year 2 was not so great. Year 3, I think, could go kind of back similar to year 1, especially with the new wide receivers that they brought in. Beyond that, a return to form for the 49ers, although they weren't bad, but like kind of, a little bit of regression back to what they were instead of last year where it was kind of a mess. Other than that, I don't know. I mean, if Tua stays healthy, the Dolphins, I think, could be better than they were. And obviously, the Titans are going to be better with Cam Ward, I think, than they were with Will Levis and Mason Rudolph. But I'm not sure that they're going to be great. They might be jumping from near the bottom to, 2/3 of the way toward the bottom. So I'm not sure that that's going to be like a big jump, but it could be like a little jump. Oh, and then the Raiders. I mean, whatever Geno Smith is, he's better than what they had before. So that would be maybe another one. Any tips on how to best use Fab in the preseason? Take big shots on rookies now or sit back and see what happens. Some leagues reset it after the preseason and others don't. Well, if it's reset after the preseason, I'd just use it. There's nothing to save it for. I typically prefer leagues where Fab resets once per year. I think having 2 different budgets is kind of not necessary. It's overwhelming. There's no reason to do that. So just resetting it once works for me. And yeah, I mean, typically I find that the one waiver run post rookie draft, that's where sometimes I'll use it. In the preseason, if there's like someone really breaking out and I feel like I need to have that player, I'm okay using Fab on it. But typically the players after week 1 or week 2 are more likely to be the highest usage of Fab rather than players in the preseason. But I always say this, and this is kind of another Patreon plug. Fab is so league specific for Dynasty. Redraft Fab is kind of more universal, but Dynasty Fab, that's something I basically do really only in the Patreon. I can't tell you how much to bid. It's just too many variables, too much with that. So it's something I cover a lot in the Patreon in terms of using Fab strategy. If we're trying to acquire a top 20 established running back, who should we try and acquire, and what are some trades looking like for such players? So I talked about this on the last video about how the dumbest question I get or the dumbest thing people do is trying to fill their RB2 spot. This is just another version of that question. In most leagues, maybe a little more than 50% of leagues, you just cannot trade for these players. You can't. Running backs are not available at a price, or producing ones are not available at a price that I'm willing to pay. They're just not. So if they're not available at a price I'm willing to pay, then we're not going to acquire those players. It's a very simple answer to your question. We're not going to. Now, how do you get them? There are some ways. You can draft Ashton Genty at 101. You can draft Amari and Hampton near the top. You can draft Quinshon Judkins and Trevion Henderson where they're going. Those are not terrible ideas. But in terms of trading for one, especially with future picks, it's usually just a no. The way to get them is if someone, let's say someone will offer you, I don't know, you have the 103 and someone will offer you, instead of taking Amari and Hampton, you could get Breece Hall and a 2026 first. Okay, I'd do that. Something along those lines. But unless it's trading an on-the-clock pick, usually you can't get these guys. And if you can't get these guys, what the answer is you take shots on running backs later in rookie drafts, or you trade for the unwanted players. Your Trey Bensons, your Zach Charbonnets, Tajay Spears, even Jalen Warren on the cheap types. That's what I would, Tyrone Tracy maybe as well. That's the answer to this question. Now, if you like the video, make sure to support the channel by subscribing, and don't forget to hit that notifications bell so you can be notified about all my exciting content as it drops. Of course, if you want my best fantasy football advice, it's available on the Patreon, and we're doing that year-round, 365 days a year. 50% discount at all tiers using the code TylerYT. You can click on the link in the top right corner of patreon.com/fantasy advice to sign up. Every sign up helps support my independent content. But once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.